Hello everyone and welcome to this month's craft. This month we are going to be doing mudcloth wall hangings. So this is probably the most materials and intensive craft we've done so far, so I'm just going to run through everything you need. You're going to need a pencil to trace, a piece of white fabric. This is just white muslin and this piece is cut to 11 by 18 inches. You're going to need a wooden dowel. This one is 12 inches long. You're going to need to use a piece of twine, which is what you're going to put on the dowel to hang your wall hanging. You're going to need some white embroidery floss and then a needle with a large eye on it, a black paint pen, graphite paper for tracing, and then there are going to be several different patterns included in your kit, and you'll choose which one of these you want to put onto your hanging, and then you'll be tracing it. And then another material you're going to need, which is not in your kit, is going to be a scissor. So hopefully you have one of those lying around at home somewhere. So the first thing we're going to do is sew the edges of the fabric in so that you have a nice clean edge. So what we're going to do is take the embroidery floss, cut a piece about this long to start with. And then you're going to thread your needle. Okay, there we go. And because embroidery floss is thick, you're just going to thread it like this. And then you're going to tie a knot on the one end of it. Okay. So you're going to fold the fabric in about 1/4 of an inch. There's that 1/2 inch. 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch. And then I'm just finger pressing it down so that there's a nice seam there. And you're going to want to start your fabric this way, because then when you fold over the top to make the sleeve for the dowel, it will actually stay, you're not going to close the ends off when you do it this way, which is a mistake I made, so I had to rip it out and then start over here. Okay, that looks pretty straight to me. All right, so you're just going to take your thread. You're going to want it to be longer than the side you're working on. And then you're going to thread your needle. Oh, pretty quick that time. I got all the sides at once. You're going to start on the back side. And we're just doing a simple running stitch. So it's just going to be in and out. And you don't want to pull too tight, because if you pull too tight, what's going to happen is the stitches are going to bunch up. And we don't want to do that. So we're just going to go in and out. You're pulling it just tight enough that it stays in place and there's no bumps. And then when you get to the end, you're going to go on the wrong side of the work. And you're just going to tie a knot. The end. I'm just going to put redo that so that it's a little bit tighter. Good. Okay. And then what you'll do is take your scissor and trim the end off. This is not a very good scissor. Okay. And in case you're wondering why we did that, when you flip it over, you can see this is a much cleaner edge than this is over here, and it's going to stop it from fraying. So over time it will stay nice and clean like that, as opposed to being over here where it's going to fray over time. So now we're going to flip it over and do the exact same thing to this other side here. We're going to do on this end, once again, I'm going to finger press the edges in. First, what we're going to do is finger press in the corners so that they make a little triangle. And then I'm going to fold the edge up. It's kind of like you're wrapping a present the way we're doing this corner here. And then you fold the edge up. And once again, we're finger pressing this in. Okay. As you can see, you have nice clean edges on 3 of the sides. Now what we're going to do is fold over the top. And this is where we're going to make the pocket to put the dowel. So you're going to make a slightly bigger fold than you did on the other sides. Okay. And now we have nice smooth edges all the way around this. And we have a little pocket that the dowel will fit into. So that's what it'll look like now. Move that over to the side. Okay. And I have 1 thread I need to trim here. Already was trimmed. Just a little bit of cleanup. Okay. You may notice if you look really close here, you can see a slight green. That's just chalk. It's what I used to divide up the fabric for when I was cutting it to make lines. It will wash right out, so if you just want to give your fabric a quick bath, it'll come right out. I'm not going to do that for this though, because I don't really notice it, so it's fine for me the way it is. And the next thing you're going to do is select which pattern you want to use. So I gave you 3 examples in here that you can choose from. I personally like this one best. The other thing you can do is you don't have to use one of the patterns I gave you. You can 100% just use a ruler and create your own pattern, or you could even freehand it if you want to do that. And I'm just going to fold these edges in so that I'm only seeing printed area. Fold in this edge so that I know where to line it up. Okay, so I'm going to line this edge up here and then go over. Okay. Okay. Oops, dropped my pencil. believe what I'm going to do, that guy. And you're going to put your tracing paper down. So you're going to put it so that the darker side is facing down. Place your pattern on top of it. And then you're just going to press down hard as you trace your design. And as you can see, tracing it like that has transferred it onto this paper here. So this is where it gets a little bit more tricky. Okay. And then I need to do that one, that one, and trace that one. Okay. And again, I'm going to place down my transfer paper. And line this up. That, okay. And if I did this correctly, which I hopefully have, I'm actually going to rotate this. Okay. So. I believe I have this lined up so that everything matches. And I'm going to go ahead and trace in my new ones. And now that those are in, it's time to break out the paint pen. So you're gonna shake it up. And I'm actually gonna start on the back of here. You have to tap it a bunch of times to get the paint to go into the nib. Okay, there. Okay. Close it, shake it. And if you're right-handed, you're going to start on the top left. If you're left-handed, you're going to start on the top right. And you're just going to trace in all of your shapes. And now what I'm going to do is just go back through and touch up any spots where there are pencil lines remaining so that you can't see the pencil. Okay. Now that that's all filled in, I'm going to take the dowel and slide it through the top. And then take my piece of twine and tie a knot on either end of the dowel. And there you have it. Mudcloth wall hanging. You can trim the twine if you want to make it shorter. Or yeah, you can make it shorter if you need to hang it, or you can keep it this length. So thank you for coming to this month's craft. I look forward to seeing you next month for our tutorial on how to make a pumpkin out of a book.